Booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing my what I read and what I'm going to read video, plus my Booktuber shout out. I am not going to talk about all the books that I've read this week because I am participating in the Rainbow Readathon, and I'm doing a vlog style video for that where I'm talking about the books that I've read, so I'm not going to say anything more than I've read them in this video. So without further ado, let's get into my Booktuber shout out for this week. And the Booktuber I want to shout out this week is called Nicole, and her channel is Wolf's Whistle. And I just love Nicole. She gives really great reviews. She's very honest in her reviews, which I really appreciate. And she'll tell you why she doesn't like something, or you know, alternatively why she does like something, but her reviews are always really well thought out, really well planned and really informative, so I love that. And she also gives some really great recommendations. I've noticed recently she's done some really good recommendation videos, and if you haven't checked her out before, I definitely recommend checking her out. And as always, I will leave her details down below, so check out Nicole from Wolf's Whistle, and she's my Booktuber shout out of the week. So as some of you may know, I'm actually on holiday at the moment, hence this unusual background and a bit of a wobbly camera, because trying to sort out somewhere to set things up was a bit difficult. So I haven't got all of the books with me, and I want to upload this, but I'm going to be away, so I'm doing it on my iPad, so I haven't got the capability of putting the pictures of the books that I haven't got with me up. So I will write them down below, because I know a couple of people have commented in previous videos that because of my accent sometimes, and because I think I talk quite fast, they've missed some of the books that I've talked about. So I'm just going to put it down below so that at least you know the name and the author of the book, in case it's something that you're interested in. Okay, so the first book that I read this week was a graphic novel, and it was Alex and Ada. I enjoyed this graphic novel more than I thought I was going to. It's a really interesting concept. Basically, you've got Alex. From what I can gather from this first volume, he's been left by his girlfriend, he's lonely, he's alone, he's a bit sort of despondent with life, and his grandma, who obviously is quite wealthy, buys him a robot companion for his birthday, which he's not sure he wants, and yeah, he's not sure he likes. He lives in a world where robots do a lot of tasks for people, and his grandma's got a robot companion who fulfills her every need, and she thinks that it would do him some good. So this starts the story about Alex and his companion called Ada. So I won't say any more, but I loved the artwork in this, and I really enjoyed the story. So I'm not sure I'd buy this full price, but if I do see a second hand or a cheaper copy of volume 2, then I might pick that up as well. The next book I read this week was a buddy read with the lovely Dawn Kurtagich at Ritaholic DK, which is her channel, and we read The Walls Around Us by Nova Ren Suma, and I was not sure what to expect from this book. For some reason I had a totally different synopsis in my head, and I think I got it confused with a different book, but basically this book is a mystery, a multiple point of view book. We hear from two friends who do ballet together, and we also hear from someone who's an inmate in a juvenile detention facility, and the story is a mystery unravelling. We're learning, we're skipping between different time frames, and we're learning what's happened. I have to say that I'm generally not drawn to ballet books. I do find that they tend to be a little bit samey. They tend to be a lot about, you know, ballet bitches and competitiveness, which I think is a very poor representation of ballet. You know, there's lots of different sides to it, and I'm sure it is a competitive sport, or competitive yes, I think ballet must be a sport, or, well, I'm sure, you know, people competing to get into ballet and to become the best, but that's the same with anything. But I think it was a bit of a generalistic sort of view on ballet in this book, and I really just didn't enjoy the ending to it, and I didn't really enjoy You know, partway through I was thinking it was going to be okay, but it was just a little bit predictable, and I really couldn't give this one any more than 3 stars, unfortunately, which was a little bit disappointing. The next book that I read this week was brilliant, and that was The Great Zoo of China by Matthew Riley. I've read all of Matthew Riley's other books throughout the years, and he's just so much fun. They're very fast paced, they're full of action. They're full of totally unrealistic scenarios. You know, I don't know if my other viewers, but in the UK, if you're old enough to remember MacGyver, it was a TV series. He used to make like a bomb out of a toilet roll and a paper clip. You know, totally unrealistic, but so much fun to watch. And I always find that in these books that's very similar. You know, they always manage to get out of these ridiculous situations by the skin of their teeth, and then they're rolling straight into another situation. But I love that, and I love that about these books. And this book's got a great premise. It reminds me a lot of Jurassic Park. It's about China in their bid to become the all powerful race. They want to be bigger than America in sort of their world domination, and their views on that is that if they create something that's a bit like a Disneyland theme park and brand it, that they will draw in more tourism, and that will then sort of boost them. And so they have set up, I don't want to say too much because I think it might spoil it, but they've created this Great Zoo of China with a very, very specific animal in the zoo, and we find out all about it, and adventure and mayhem and blood and guts and fighting and guns and everything ensues, and it was brilliant, and I gave this one a very well deserved 4 stars. The next books I read, I'm just literally going to show you. I'm not going to tell you too much about them because I will be talking about them in my wrap of the Rainbow Readathon on Sunday. The first one that I read as part of the readathon was Graceling by Kristin Cashore. This was my green book. The second book that I read was The Professional by Cressley Cole, and this was my orange book. If you've watched my Rainbow Readathon TBR, you'll know that for my purple book I'm using my Kindle, and I picked one out of a jar for that. I didn't want to read that one in the end, it just wasn't drawing me. I may read it later in the week, but I picked from this Alive, which is a book from NetGap by Scott Sigler. And I apologise now, this is going to get a bit wobbly because the books that I'm planning on reading next week were propping you up, so I've taken them away, so I apologise if we're wobbly. But the books that I'm planning on continuing this week and next week with is The Life of a Banana by P.P. Wong, which is going to be my yellow book, so hopefully I'll have this finished by Sunday, and you can see that in my wrap up. Definitely going to be starting Sarah Waters' Tipping the Velvet this week. I'm reading this as part of a buddy read with a number of different booktubers, so I'm excited to start chatting to them. I know that most of them have started already. And then I have a book that I've picked up from the library that looked like a good fun read, and that is Legion of the Damned by William C. Dietz. I don't know much about this. This is the first in quite a long series, I think. I'll read you the back because it got me hooked. Far in the future, condemned criminals and the fatally ill have 2 choices: to die or join the Legion of the Damned, an elite fighting force made up of human legionnaires and cyborg soldiers. If they enlist, their bodies will be destroyed and their minds implanted in gigantic armoured killing machines programmed to fight for the human empire. As trouble brews among the confederacy of sentient beings, the aggressive Houdathan aliens are turning their attentions towards Earth. Ruled by an insane emperor and a corrupt government, it's up to the Legion to save the planet and the empire from total destruction. Just sounds like good fun, fast-paced sci-fi adventure, and that's what I'm looking for at the moment. I have been feeling this gap. Well, I've been feeling 2 gaps really. I'm feeling the gap after reading Fortune's Pawn and the Paradox trilogy by Rachel Back. I really need to find a book that, or a series that will help me fulfill that gap. And also I'm feeling a big gap after reading the After series by Anna Todd, which is sort of an erotic, maybe new adult type contemporary romance. So I have been picking up quite a few contemporary romance books to read, so I think I'm going to be getting to quite a few of them soon as well. Once I've finished Tipping the Velvet, that's my final buddy read of the month, and then I really have sort of read most of my TBR books as well. So I'll just be looking at picking up what I fancy, getting through some of my NetGalley books and getting myself ready for July. So I'm really pleased with the progress that I've made with my reading this month, and I've really enjoyed a lot of the books that I've read. Anyway, that's what I've been reading. Make sure you check out Nicole from Wolf's Whistle. I'll leave her links, as I say, down below. And if you ever want to see any of my previous Booktuber shout-outs and this is the first time you're watching my video, then you can go onto my channel and look. I have a section on my page called Booktuber shout-outs, and I always link everyone that I've shouted out on there. Okay, well, I'll look forward to hearing what you guys have been reading. Make sure you comment down below, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, Booktube.